Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, mindset mentor, Linda Joy, publisher of Aspire Magazine, the premier inspirational digital magazine for women since 2006. I can't believe we are celebrating 16 years of inspiring women to live deeper, more authentic, and inspired lives. And, if you've been following the Inspired Conversations show over the last 6 years, I'm passionate about bringing you conversations that remind you of the truth of who you are, support you in living your best life. And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics. I'm all about the divine support team that's always around us, whatever you may call it. But I, in my life, am really drawn to the angels, to my divine support team. And joining me today is Karen Noé. And she's joining me for a beautiful conversation to remind us that we are never alone. Our angels are always with us. And I've had many personal experiences, so I'm excited about this conversation. Karen is a renowned psychic medium, spiritual counselor, and healer with a 2-year waiting list for appointments and consultations. She's the author of several books published by Hay House and the just released her gorgeous new card deck, the Angel Quest Oracle. And I have to tell you, they are in my hands. Before we came on the air, I was telling Karen there is an energy about them. On top of being beautiful, I'm all about energy, and I can feel the love and intention that went into this gorgeous deck. Karen's also the founder of the Angel Quest Center in Waldwick, New Jersey, where she teaches classes, gives readings, and practices alternative healing. You can also listen to Karen on the Angel Quest radio show at hudsonriverradio.com. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it's one of my favorite topics, and as we were talking about off the air, I'm really drawn to energy and intention, and as I shared, your deck is absolutely stunning from a visual perspective, but there's a beautiful energy about it, and that's what I connected with immediately. So let's talk about your story for a little while. Have you always been able to connect with the angels, or was it a pivotal moment that it all began for you?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. When I was younger, I was psychic. It was different than connecting with deceased loved ones and angels. My father used to take me to the racetrack, and I used to pick the winning horses for him. Now I'm an animal activist. I don't go to the track. But back then, that's what happened. And long story short, all of those things, my friends used to say sometimes that I freaked them out. I would know things that would happen before they did. But a little over 25 years ago, I'm losing track of time. Yeah, it was about that time. I was going through a difficult time in my life, and I sat at the edge of my bed. And as I was sitting there, I just started yelling at God and the angels. And I said, am I going to be okay? Just give me a sign. And with that, I actually saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And as it was coming towards me, I said, if you're not of God, please leave. Now, 25 years later, I know we're all of God. But at that time, I wanted to make sure it was of a high flight, a higher vibration. But it continued to come towards me after I said that and eventually enveloped me. At that time, I heard an audible voice that said, Lucia Lucina, Bella Lucia Lucina. And for the Italian listeners, that means light, beautiful little light. I have since learned it was St. Francis of Assisi, who's been guiding and protecting me ever since. And if anybody has read any of my books, I have 4 of them, you'll see my St. Francis connection and all of that and the angels and so forth. But right after that experience, I started connecting with deceased loved ones as well as angels. And the angels are absolutely my favorite to connect with. They are different than deceased loved ones.
Yeah, do they come through differently, or is it the energy you experience that you know it's different?
It's in all ways. Deceased loved ones, when they come through, they come in the personality that they had when they were here on the in the physical plane. Like if they were loud, they're still loud. If they were funny, they come through with jokes and so forth. The angels are a higher vibration. It just feels like total love and peace, and it just makes my day. You just feel the angels, and it soothes you. Stronger, always loving, always positive, and so forth.
It's powerful. I've always been drawn, like I've used oracle decks, especially angels, God, for 12 years, became certified angel reader. Never did it for a practice, for business. I did it because I wanted to connect. So I teach my grandchildren. One is 22 years old, the other one's 10.
Oh, I love it.
No, they have their own decks. They have my little 10-year-old granddaughter is so wide open and connected. But since she was little, she goes to sleep with Archangel Michael. And
I love it.
Yeah, she calls on him to the four corners of a house, four corners of a room, four corners of a bed. And then she says, Archangel Michael, cover me with a bubble of love and protection. And every night when she was 4, she gets to pick what the bubble's going to look like. Sometimes it's purple shimmery, sometimes it's rainbow sparkles, but it's always Archangel Michael.
I love to hear that. That's great. What a great
I think I didn't grow up with any connection. And I know that we all have the ability to connect, but as a child, I want her to experience that kind of love and connection. And I'll share one story because it just touches my heart, but it shows like children are so open, as you know, Karen, right? We were born that way. Well, one day, I have to say, she was taking a tinkle on the toilet, and she had just been learning about Archangel Michael, and she needed assistance, and I was kneeling down in front of her. And with wide eyes, Karen, she looked at me, she said, Mama, I felt Archangel Michael last night. Now, she didn't know anything, Karen, about descriptive or anything. We just did the nighttime ritual. I never described them.
Oh my God.
Her eyes were like wide open, and she put her forehead against my forehead, and I'm kneeling in front of her. She goes, these wings had so much power in the air, and he took his sword and stood over me, and I never felt safer. And I'm looking at her like,
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, she described it. I had tears coming down my eyes.
Oh my.
And I said, if that's the only gift I ever give her, may it be that. May she know that she is always divinely protected and loved and can call on them. And so I just want to share that for our listeners. It was such a beautiful moment because I didn't have that as a child. I didn't have that belief or that knowing of something so beautiful was there to support us. Is that why you're so passionate about the work you do? You want everyone to feel that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last.
Is that why you're so passionate about the work you do? Because you want everyone to experience that divine love?
Well, this is the best part. Now, first of all, I want to go back to your grandchild in 1 second, but we all can connect with the angels. It's not just Karen Noé, right? Or you or your granddaughter. It's all of us can connect with the angels, which is amazing. We could call upon them and they could be in more than one place at one time, especially the archangels. Now we all have guardian angels, which could be only with us. I have a guardian angel, you do, and everybody else does as well. But the archangels can be in more than one place at one time. How old is your granddaughter now? Does she still?
Oh yeah, you should see her crystal collection. She talks to bugs, butterflies follow her. She'll say to us,
"Oh, I love it."
I'm going to meet you and Norman on the trail. And like she's 3 years old. I go, who the heck is Norman? I was getting like, who is this person? No, it was a purple butterfly that she told us that 1/8 of a mile before we got there that it would be waiting at the field. And guess what? Every single time that summer we went on that path, that darn purple butterfly was there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's who she is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to continue to nurture that because as she gets into the world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it smothered by school systems and all of that. So yeah, she has her own crystal collection. I'll tell you, she cost Grandma and Grandpa some money. She's like, we got to go to the crystal store because I am missing this one, and this one. She probably has about 44 crystals that she handpicked.
She's so lucky to have you as a grandma,
Ah,
and you encourage it. Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to ask a question because I'm really curious. I remember many years ago, a dear friend of mine, she's, does angel reading. She does soul entrainment. I remember her saying to me that I had a divine support team. Now she saw Archangel Michael, which didn't surprise me. But how she described it, she goes, Linda, you have this Native American that comes to the forefront at different parts of your life. Because then I'm drawn to Native American flute music. My house is like the Aztec colors of mission style. And I remember, this is like 15 years ago, her saying that at different times in your life, we all have a divine support team, but at different times in your life, some of them will step forward because that's their strongest skill set to help you navigate something. Does that resonate with what you've discovered in your work?
Yes, but could I say something? What's funny, what's really cool, when you were telling me that, I'm shuffling the angel card deck, and I pulled you have the deck, number 12, it's respect, but look at the card. It's Native American.
Oh my God. So that is no
As we're talking, I'm sorry to change the subject, but I'm like,
no.
I got really big, and I said, okay. It just says, yeah, I think it's more of the picture in that particular card, because I truly believe, less respecting nature, you do all of that.
Yes.
But yes, pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because it's another divine validation.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment. And I'm with Karen Noé, and you can visit her at KarenNoé.com, and that's NOE.com. We'll be right back.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Inspiration for a woman's soul. Aspire Magazine, inspiring and supporting women on the path of self-discovery. Claim your free digital subscription today, which includes access to thousands of dollars of personal development bonus gifts from Team Inspiration partners. Claim your Aspire Magazine subscription today at subscribetoaspire.com.
Hey America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Welcome back, my friends. You're listening to Inspired Conversations, and with me is Karen Noé of KarenNoé.com. And she's the beautiful creator of the Angel Quest Oracle deck. And the artwork was by Marie Antoinette Kelly. Just love her name, by the way. Just the energy of that name. So, Karen, I know I've asked these questions on my journey, dancing and playing with the angels. So what's the difference between guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, and deceased loved ones?
Okay, that's a very good question. So we all have guardian angels that are only our angels. I have one, you have one, everyone here on the planet has a guardian angel, in the universe has a guardian angel. They are only with that particular person. Then there are archangels that could be in more than one place at one time. And that's what we were talking about before. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Zadkiel. There's so many. And they can be in more than one place at one time. You're not taking an archangel away from somebody else who needs them more. So, for instance, if I need Archangel Michael to take away negativity in my life, I would call upon him with no guilt because he could be in more than one place at one time. Then there are ascended masters, and they have lived in the physical body and they've attained, perfect vibration, ascended masters. They are like Jesus, Buddha, and all of them, St. Francis. And you could still call upon them and they can be with us, and they can be in more than one place at one time as well. Then we're talking about deceased loved ones. And that is what we were talking about before. That's what most people who come to see me want to, they want to connect with. And I want to connect with the angels, but the validation is there when the deceased loved one comes through with specific messages that no one else would know, the name of their dog when they were 5 years old, or things like that. It goes on and on, finding missing money and so forth. But they come in the personality that they had when they were in the physical planet. For example, my friend Marion, she left her physical body and she was very loud and sarcastic. When she comes through to me, boy, is she loud. I mean, I could tell you some signs she's given me. It's just typical Marion fashion. So if you have a deceased loved ones, expect them to come through just the way they were in life. They do grow and evolve, but they do, I think for us, they come through in the same personality so that we know it truly is them.
Now, I have two questions on that, because I don't hear, and I'm happy not to hear, that's my choice, right? I don't hear. But I've had an intervention from someone we didn't know had passed. And we were coming from a cross-country trip. God, my daughter was 16, she's 37 now, so it's about 25 years ago. And I should have known not to drive at night. So my honey and the daughter were sleeping way in the back, and I was driving the truck, and it was the middle of the night. And I, you do the little dance. I'm just going to close one eye. I'm just going to close one eye. And should have pulled over, but I just was not conscious enough to. Bottom line, Karen, I started to go to the center meridian into oncoming traffic. At 2 a.m, there really wasn't oncoming traffic, but there was a lot of gullies. A hand grabbed my shoulder, and I'm talking about a hand.
Wow.
That was huge. And said, Linda. And when I jacked the truck, of course, that threw them across the back. They're in the back. So I pull over, and I kept pulling down the top shoulder of my shirt, looking at my shoulder, like I could still feel the handprint there, a giant hand. So I kept saying to Dana, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I said to him, I said, if you hadn't grabbed me, he goes, what are you talking about? I hadn't grabbed you. We had a split truck. He was in the cab, in the bed, in the back with her. He couldn't have reached the cab. He was locked in the back section. And then I just quietly kept saying, this is the strangest experience. And we drove another 6 hours home. Karen, we got home, and I knew something.
I knew it was
bigger than me. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got home at 6 a.m. We hit the answering machine and we're unpacking. His dearest friend of 25 years took a turn for the worse. He was building a house and died in the hospital. And he was a blacksmith with giant hands, and used to love to put his hands over my face and go, tease me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was known for his hands. He's visited twice to deliver messages through other people to me to tell Dana. But that moment, so even though I didn't hear him, it was a deep knowing, even though I didn't know it was him at the time, a deep knowing that it was the other side that just saved me.
Absolutely.
Saved us, actually.
Absolutely, yes.
So even though someone doesn't hear, you can still have experiences like that. Like I knew it was from the other side. I kind of intuitively knew. I didn't think it was an angel or anything because of the experience of feeling the hand, right? It was Dana and I both cried because we knew it was him. It was such a beautiful moment when we realized it was him. It was like in those hours that we were traveling, he was passing away. and he died 2 hours later after
Yeah,
that
yeah,
truck incident. So do you hear a lot of stories like that where they do it,
yeah.
that they're there to help us and protect us?
Absolutely. They come through. They don't necessarily use an audible voice or show us an apparition of who they are, because that's difficult. The fact that you felt the hand, see, that's their spirit. He
Yeah, it
left
is.
his physical body. So that's truly amazing. And oftentimes I call them without a doubt signs, things that normally don't happen. So you normally don't feel a hand on you that saves you. It is absolutely a deceased loved one or an angel. There's no other explanation for that saved you that day.
And the funny part is 25 years later, just having this conversation, it brings the imprint right back on my shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So we've always, here's the beautiful part. He had been struggling with cancer for many years. So him and my honey had deep conversations about death. And he was one of the longest Taxol patients back in Massachusetts when Taxol was new, right? They used to have deep conversations. And guess what? He's a 6'4", 240-pound man who deeply believed in angels and was at peace about dying. Even when he wasn't dying, they would have deep conversations about angels and all of that. And I knew it was his way of saying, it's okay, guys, I'm okay.
And he's okay. Yes.
Yeah, and that's how we looked at the whole, and other things that have happened since then. But I don't hear
But
or see that just almost like interventions like that.
he wanted you to know that he was okay, but also he wanted you to be too.
Yeah, it was a powerful moment that really, for me, elevated my connection to my source, to the divine, to the angels, to all of it. It was just a beautiful moment in my life and my honey's, as well. Of course, I'm deeply grateful that he did what he did to intervene. So, what are some of the signs the angels give us to let us know they were with us? That's part one of the question. The part two is the sign's different for everyone, correct?
Yes, there are different signs. Now, again, the signs from angels may be different than signs from our deceased loved ones, but they would come through in a different way. I would call them without a doubt signs. So the things that I'm going to talk about are things that normally don't happen, right? So they like to use their energy to go inside of a bird, a ladybug, a butterfly, a dragonfly to let you know they're with you. And that could be angels and deceased loved ones. But the bird, the animal would do something that it normally wouldn't do, such as land on you or peck at your window or scream at you. And, or the person will say, oh my goodness, this butterfly is following me around, you know? Other times they come through as they like to show, oftentimes our deceased loved ones like to give us pennies or dimes or feathers in our path to let us know they're with us. They also like to give off fragrances, whether it be perfume or flowers, and you'll be in the middle of nowhere and you'll smell these wonderful smells and you'll know there's no logical explanation for that. I could go on and on. They like to make songs come on at the perfect time with the words that you need to hear, with the exact words. You may be going through a difficult time in your life and you turn on the radio and boom, those are the words you need to hear. You may see the same numbers over and over, whether it be 1111 or 2222. They love to play with electricity, turn the lights on and off, the TV on and off, and so forth. And I'll give you two more. One is they like to make buzzing sounds in our ears. Every time right before I make a connection with the angels or a deceased loved one, I hear a ringing in my ear. So I hear, oop, and then I get a message. And then I hear, oop. So I've learned it's just a higher frequency, And then finally, they love to place thoughts in our head for no reason. What I mean is, like, if you backtrack your thoughts, you usually could find where your thought originated from. You may see a picture that reminded you of something and so forth. But when an angel or a deceased loved one comes into our consciousness, they speak to us telepathically. They just, boom, they place a thought in your head. Do this, do that. Like, where did that come from? That's how they speak to us.
So many of these resonate. So those signs that you share could be the angels and or deceased loved ones?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
Because
how you,
I'm a numbers gal, you
uh-huh.
know. I love when you get in bed after you made the bed, done everything, and there's a penny when you get in. And I always giggle and go, "Oh, thank you for the sign," because I know it's not a freak, it's something. It's out of the ordinary. And I always say thank you when I receive signs.
Yes. You have
I
to say, the more
acknowledge.
you say that, yeah, the more you acknowledge them, the more they will give you signs, or else they'll think, oh, you're not paying attention, and they'll stop. So even when you find a penny or something like that, put it in a jar and you'll see how many you're getting. You're probably getting a lot of pennies or, whatever it is, the numbers. Every time you look at the clock, it's the same number or something, and pay attention.
Yeah, it's so beautiful and powerful. Before we take our next break, I'll share. I've posted this on social media. On social media, I call my granddaughter #little goddess. But she has found to date at 10, 28 4-leaf clovers. And my daughter laminates them and puts the date. Well, one day she found one and she wanted to give it to her papa. She was 7. And she runs to Papa, she gives it to Papa, and then she looks at my face and she's like, "Oh, I have to get you one, Amma." Now I, of course, is like, "Okay, you can, go outside and find one." But I really didn't want her to be disappointed, because what are the odds you're going to go find another one? She runs outside, she finds a darn 4-leaf clover and brings it in.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way in heck that this is happening. So
Right.
we said, "McKenna, how do you, I'm going to be 60 years old, baby, and Emma's never found a 4-leaf clover."
Yeah.
And I said, how do you do this? How do you do it? She looked at me like I had 3 heads, and she goes, "I just go outside and ask them to show me where they are." That's
Oh,
it. The
now this is
simplicity.
the same grandchild that,
Same grandchild.
oh, wow.
She's the one we have pictures of dragonflies landing on her and sitting on her for 45 minutes as she
Oh my
speaks. We have
gosh.
video, and she has conversations with them. 3 on her, and I'm like, "Come on, send one over here." Yeah, so I look at those signs because I want her to be aware too, but I learned from her in her openness that she expects that stuff. So of course she's open to it, right?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
close
Yes.
down
Yes.
those expectations as we come into the world. So we're going to take a break, Karen. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about what led you to create this gorgeous deck called the Angel Quest Oracle.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. I'm with Karen Noé of KarenNoé.com. Noé is spelled Noe, and that's KarenNoé.com. We'll be right back, my friends.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM radio network.
Are you being called to step into your truth and embrace your divinity? Are you ready to align your heart and soul, live an authentic life, and become a divine magnet for love and abundance? It's time to listen to your inner wisdom and clear the blocks holding you back from your best life. Leading intuitive prosperity coach, Akashic Records practitioner, and evidential medium Jamie Hearn of LiveYourDivinity.com empowers and supports spiritual women like you to align your inner and outer worlds, embrace your soul's truth, and live your divinity. Through her intuitive gifts, grounded wisdom, and empowered coaching, Jamie guides women back into sacred alignment with their truth. Visit LiveYourDivinity.com to learn more about Jamie's empowering programs and to schedule an Akashic record reading.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Me, a cat moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I am here with Karen Noé, and we're talking about angels and archangels and ascended masters and connecting with our deceased loved ones and the signs that are always all around us. So, Karen, as I shared earlier, I have your deck. It just arrived in the Angel Quest Oracle. And I was saying, like, I'm a very visual person. You know, I have so many media brands. It's all about like, the vision of like how they're presented. Not only are they stunning, but as I said to you off the air, when I picked them up, this something, the energy's palpable. So tell me what led you, because you've written what, 4 books now?
Yes.
This is your first Oracle deck.
Oracle deck, yes.
Yeah, talk to us about how that was birthed for you.
Yes. Well, first of all, it is all about energy. That's what it's all about. But the angel cards, I've been teaching classes. I have a center in New Jersey called the Angel Quest Center, thus the Angel Quest Oracle. But I was in the past that we were using other people's decks. And I said, the angels were guiding me. I just needed to do my own. So I had an artist in mind who actually did one of my covers for one of my books, Your Life After Their Death. And I contacted her one morning. I felt the angels, and there's a couple of hours difference. She's on the mountain time, I believe. I'm on the East Coast. So I called her 11. It was earlier for her. And she always mentions that she was still sleeping. And I called her and I said, would you like to work with me on doing angel oracle cards? And she said, she's in. So we actually, each and every card, I was channeling the messages. She was channeling the artwork. And very rarely in oracle decks do the artist and the person who's writing the copy for it and the messages, come together like that. Usually it's just artwork, and then they kind of put the words to whatever goes with it. So it was a collaborative effort, and it was just, we felt the angels every step of the way.
Well, I can tell you can feel it. They're beautiful. And so how did you first connected with her because she was the artist that did one of your covers, you said? Yes.
And I did know my first book, The Rainbow Follows the Storm, which was written in 2005, a small publisher at that time. That was the only book that was a small publisher, but I had a publicist that was helping with the book, and his name was Chris Kelly. Notice the last name. Mm-hmm. And he just kept saying, my wife is an artist. My wife is an artist. And I said, So I always had the back of my mind. I looked at her website. I said, someday we're going to work together. And indeed we did.
I love divine synchronicities like that. I live my life like my mantra every year. We pick a word of the year, but I also do a mantra. That's my intention for the year. And this year, it's actually been the mantra for the last 2 is 2022 is going to be filled with magic, miracles, and an abundance of blessings. That's okay. And I repeat it every day, and then I have it on a beautiful little sign as I have my coffee every morning, and I focus on that. So that was a divine synchronicity. It's like the seed was being planted by the divine. Oh, there's this artist person. So that when it was time for you to do a project, she popped right in because the seed had been planted.
Yes.
It gives me soul giggles every time. I tell everyone, I get soul giggles when I hear stories like that. Because if I look back at my life now that I have the belief system that I do, when I look back, I can see all the times that divine synchronicities and my divine support team were guiding me, even though I might not have seen it at that time. Do you have that same experience?
Yeah, you think they're just coincidences. And then you look back and say, oh my gosh, That was meant to be, it just fell right into place. So, another wonderful thing is that we can create. I love that you have those words. It's like a manifest, it's like a vision board,
It is.
that you have up. And every New Year's Eve, I do a vision board, and every year, whatever was on the vision board came to pass. Just if I could share a very quick
Of
story.
course.
Um, this New Year's Eve, I said, you know what? What the heck? I'd love to be in a documentary with like-minded mediums. It just felt, if it doesn't happen, I don't really care. I didn't even put a lot of energy into it. This was December 31st, right? A week later, the publisher of the Angel Quest Oracle, she emails me and says they're looking, a producer is looking for somebody to do a documentary for mediums to prove about, talk about life after death. Would I be interested? But do you see what I mean? How that works?
Yes.
We can create our reality. Everyone, it's not just me. Everyone can do it. We just have to focus on what we do want rather than what we don't want, and focus on solutions rather than the problem. And that's how it works.
Oh, I'm so with you on that. I tell everyone, I have an Inspiration Lounge Facebook group for women, and I talk a lot about mindset, about where's your mind, because what we're thinking about, what you're putting your energy and emotions to is what's coming your way, right? Whether you believe in it or not, you have to be conscious of it, because that's just how the divine and the universe works. So it's one of my favorite topics. We could have another whole call.
I would love to. Well, we're vibrational beings. So whatever we're thinking and feeling, we're creating, we're like magnets. So it's very important to focus in your mind. Even if you start thinking negative thoughts, it's not that everything is going to manifest, but it will go in a negative direction, which will be more powerful. And you'll just keep thinking negativity. You have to think about what you do love and like, and change the subject. Like if somebody's arguing or you're watching something on TV and it's not a very positive thing, change the channel. You change your life.
And one of the things I like to say to everyone, you're human, so your mind is going to do that to you. I just had this call yesterday on the university, and I said, the thing is, the moment you come into the moment of awareness that, I really don't like this, how I feel with this thought, the choice becomes yours, whether to go down that rabbit hole or to change it. So you're not a victim to your thoughts. It's like that moment of awareness. I mean, everyone knows my life story. I was a welfare mom, runaway, high school dropout, prom victim. And I remember 1992 waking up in the car. Well, I don't mean waking up from a physical sleep, but from a spiritual, like I heard a voice. That was the only time I ever heard a voice, Karen, I got to say, because I don't really speak that way. And it just said, the truth of who you are was never touched out as a child. You are not a victim. Choose another story. And you would think hearing a voice would be my pivotal, like, oh my God.
You would think so, yeah.
You want to know what it was for me? Hearing the word choice. What? I was so stuck in victim mentality. Hearing the word choice was like, I don't have to feel this way. And I wrote on a Dunkin' Donuts napkin. I know you know Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I want to feel love. I want to feel joy. And I was a single mother at the time, 6 years old, welfare mom. That day I was contemplating taking my life in the car that day. And I've written about this and spoke about it. But that moment of hearing the word choice, that I could choose my thoughts instead of letting them choose. That day I wrote everything on a napkin, dried my tears, started with the car, and somebody 5 hours later gave me Louise Hay's book.
You can hear your life?
Yeah. And that set me on a path to Marianne Williams, all that. And here I am now owning the Inspirational Magazine. Have been invited to Louise Hay's private book signing when she was still here.
I love her.
Connected and partnered with so many women, all because I made a different choice with my thoughts. So yes to everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are the first track, right?
Yep.
And so thank you. We're going to take a
majority of it's the majority of your thoughts. It's not just the one thought that pops in your head. It's you just consistently think of a positive, something positive rather than negative. Just like you said, you change.
It's so powerful. That's why I'm passionate about bringing people on the show like you. To show all these different voices saying, listen, this is real. There are new ways of thinking. So we're going to take our final break. When we come back, I'd love if you want to share with our audience, because I'm going to advise them to go get a deck of the Angel Quest Oracle. so you can give them a tip on how they can give an angel reading for themselves and others. So
Sounds like a plan.
we'll be right back for our final segment. I am with Karen Noé of KarenNoé.com. Be sure to visit and grab your Angel Quest Oracle today.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
It's time to begin the adventure of a lifetime by nurturing the most important relationship you will ever have, the relationship with yourself. Kelly Grimes, self-nurturing expert, speaker, and author of the bestseller, The Art of Self-Nurturing, a field guide to living with more peace, joy, and meaning, shares that a self-nurturing practice is not about being perfect or completing another thing on your to-do list, but rather nurturing a relationship with yourself. In The Art of Self-Nurturing, you'll discover the inspiration, examples, reflective questions, and self-nurturing practices that will empower you to become the artist of your own life and see self-nurturing as an art form. Rather than living from obligation and overwhelm, you will learn to cultivate a life filled with self-compassion and self-love. Order your copy today at artofselfnurturingbook.com and receive the Self-Nurturing Starter Kit as a supportive gift.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
You're listening to Inspired Conversations. Welcome back, my friends. This is Linda Joy. We're talking with Karen Noé today. And I said we because I believe our divine support teams are here with us today for this magical conversation. So for someone that may be new, who has never used an oracle deck, what are some tips of how they can use your deck to give themselves a reading or, their friends?
Well, this is the best part, that everyone can do an angel card reading. And that is, the angels are with everybody. It's so simple. When you first get the deck, I would tell them to clear it and energize it. So how do you clear the deck? That means take the energy off of whoever handled the deck before you. And what you do is you hold the hand in the hand you do not write with. You hold the cards in the hand you do not write with. And you just knock on it with your other hand. I'm lefty, so I hold the deck with my right hand, and with my left hand, with my pointer finger, I knock on the deck. That takes away the other energy. Then when you have a new deck, you put your energy on each and every card. So you go through the deck one by one. You're putting your energy on it. You don't want anybody else to touch your deck. It's your deck. Then simply all you have to do is you ask the angels what you need to know today. So that's a 1-card reading. What's really good about the Angel Quest Oracle is the messages directly on the card itself. So let me do a 1 card right now. I'm just going to shuffle the deck. Now the card may fly out of the deck. You may feel like you just need to pick a certain card, but this one flew out of the deck just now. It's the Hope card. So it says, Archangel Phanuel is granting you the faith and strength you need during this time. So this is for the person who needs hope, right? And then you would expand on whatever that means. But if you don't know what it means, we have a guidebook in the Oracle deck that corresponds. This has number 9, this card. And then you look in the card for number 9, and it goes into a further meaning of what that particular card means. Now you could do 3-card reading. You could do past, present, and future in the same way. You shuffle the deck, and the first one, keep shuffling till either a card jumps out at you or you just feel, the cards clumped together, and you select the first card. That would be the past, your past. Do the same thing. That would be your present. And then you would shuffle the deck one more time, which would be the future. And then you have a story there. Now, I know I'm going fast. I just want to make sure I get it all in. But it's so easy because, again, the message is directly on the card itself. And if you need more detail on it, you look in the guidebook. So you see how it pertains to you.
I love it. And I do it every single day, my cards. And sometimes say I'm going, like I draw one every morning, no matter what, just what I do for the last decade. But sometimes, like if I'm working on a big project, and I do a lot of personal development and media projects for this genre, I will draw the cards and ask for say I feel like I'm not sure what direction to go on a project. I get the answer every single time.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It really,
Yeah.
and people say, how do they do that? They're angels. they know how to do that. That's how they do it.
And the beautiful part is sometimes it's usually your answer, and you're like, I'm going to draw it for a validation. I get the validation every time. Sometimes option 2 is the way they directed me, but 90% of the time, my initial instinct of what my decision was spot on.
Exactly.
So it's like really validating.
Absolutely. I was teaching a class the other day on connecting with the archangels. And we just spent about a half an hour on how to raise your vibration so it's more on par with their energy, which is all compassion and love and so forth. We just spent so much time on that because they're all the way up here and we're down, we're angry, whatever emotions are bringing us down. We're talking about that over and over. And I said, okay, angels, what do we need to know today? I took the Angel Quest Oracle out. I'm shuffling the cards. And what flew out of the card flew out, and everybody witnessed it, raising your vibration. So it was really cool. It just validates exactly what you said. It validates exactly what we were talking about. I love it.
And you get these giggles, right? It's like a little kid, like, I just love it. And a lot of times, I don't know if you do this, like I have a mini altar on my office desk right here. And a giant amethyst and a symbol of crystals, but whatever, I always draw the card in the morning, so that's standing there behind the crystal because I like to keep it in my energy all day as a reminder.
Yes.
And then some days I'm drawn to the 3 card, and I stand them all up, and they stay there till the end of the day, and then I clear the energy on my desk and start over. But I love to have them on my little altar so that the messaging.
That's
The
great.
message I received that morning stays in my energy field all day.
Oh, I'm going to do that. I love that idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I stand it up in front of a crystal and they're right there.
Yeah.
And so there are so many different ways we can use them as tools. I tell everyone, I remember when the first time I held the deck way back when, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it wrong. So, Karen, talk about that, because if I felt it, I'm sure others like, oh, I'm going to do it wrong. I don't think you can do it wrong, but
You can't do it wrong. You just have to have the faith that you can do it. And, you could say before you do an angel card reading, thank you, angels, for granting me the faith of knowing I'm doing this correctly or something like that. In other words, you don't beg. Don't beg the angels because that means you don't believe it. Just thank them. Say thank you for allowing me to do an accurate reading, and then just trust, and you can do it. Just have the faith. We all can do this. I promise you. You'll be surprised at the messages you receive. And the best part about an angel oracle deck is that it's all positive, loving messages. So it's nothing scary. People are afraid, oh, it might be something scary. No, never. The angels never deliver a negative message.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I'm drawn to that. We got enough of that stuff out in the world. Exactly. I just love the positive messaging. It feels safe. You feel supported. So I'm so glad that you said that, because I think there's some fears around them, and you just cleared that right up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I'd love to invite you to do in our final minutes is Does Angel Quest Oracle have its own website, or do they go to the KarenNoé.com?
You could go on my website at KarenNoé.com, KarenNoe.com. We don't have they said on the publisher's website, Beyond Words, that they're going to have a card of the day. They didn't get that up yet. I wanted to do it on my website, but they said no, they wanted to do it. I said, okay. So,
yeah,
but that's
that would
great.
be
You know,
nice.
what's the card of the day? Just click on the link.
I love doing those. I have some friends that, have the cards on their site, and it's beautiful. And you go and you pick one, and it's amazing, the technology. I don't go, when I remember, I'll go do them, because if they have different decks than I have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is so much fun, and it's such a beautiful offering. People get to know your cards and then grab their own deck. So again, everyone, I want to invite you to KarenNoe.com, KarenNoe.com. So Karen, we still have couple minutes left. Do you have any closing words for our audience, a message you'd like to leave them with?
Oh, sure. I want to tell everybody to remember who they are. We are vibrational beings of love and light. We just have to remember who we are, and we could create amazing miracles in our lives. We all have angels with us who are guiding and protecting us. We have everything to gain and nothing to lose by calling upon them. So it's just important to call upon the angels and then be patient and wait, and they'll come when you least expect it.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Karen, it was so wonderful circling up with you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with my audience. I also want to invite everyone, I'm going to say the URL again, KarenNoe.com. The word Karen and then NOE.com. Along with our Angel Quest Oracles, Karen, give the titles of your books, because I love the topics.
Oh, thank you. So the most recent ones that were published by Hay House were We Consciousness. I actually I still do, with Wayne Dyer's family after he left the physical plane. So that's We Consciousness, long story. I don't think we have time here. But then there is another book called Your Life After Their Death, which talks about how to heal after the loss of a loved one and how to connect with them, and Through the Eyes of Another.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. We're sacred offerings to the world, my friend. So thank you, Karen. And until next time, everyone, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness. Blessings, my friends.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.